broadcasting live to be legal?
Well, I don't know. Do you have a quorum? You have a quorum, but we're missing Jason and Brian. They might be online. But you have 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Okay, well, thank you guys for coming. Okay, let's take a roll call.
Tom Duffy.
Here.
Jesse Betcher.
Here.
Jason Weaver, Brian Bissonette, Stacy Hessel.
Here.
Okay, in compliance with the open meeting law.
The meeting has been noticed to the public and news media as required by section 19.84 of the Wisconsin statutes.
Okay, and
There's
the
Brian online.
oh, Brian, wonderful. Good morning, Brian.
Morning.
The meeting agenda has been posted. Anybody have any additions or corrections to the agenda? No, we let it stand as is. How about public comments? You gals from library, you can come later on when we have your section.
Linda Zomer has her hand up.
Who does?
Linda Zomer.
Linda.
online.
Good morning, Linda. You're on.
Good morning, committee members. My public comment, Linda Zilmer, 902 Holly Hill Lane, Birchwood, Wisconsin. My public comment this morning is to ask if UW Extension can find out its current resources as far as educators and materials on broadband and how best to plan for broadband services. Some years ago, one of the extension specialists came in and provided the committee with several ideas that I don't think we took advantage of. And it might be helpful to see what's happened since then and to get some fresh ideas. Thank you.
Anybody else on board? Okay, let's go to the minutes.
Wait, I have one.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Jane Schrader. I'm here just to represent the Sawyer County Snowmobile and ATV Alliance. We've put the snowmobile season kind of to bed finally, had quite a phenomenal.
You're on the- Yeah, you're on the agenda.
Oh, I thought
That's
it was
okay.
published. Never mind.
You're good.
Cancel that.
You're good. You get a.
I'm on later down.
Yeah, Jane, you're gonna be coming regularly?
One of us will be.
Oh, that'd be
There's a
good.
committee. We've formed a new committee, so
Yeah,
somebody
alright.
will be here each month.
Good. All right, good. Okay, let's move on then to 7, the Sawyer County Agricultural Fair. Anything really?
Do you want 6?
Minutes?
6, you have to approve the minutes.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second that.
All say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, no. Very well, they're approved. Okay, now we'll go to the fair.
As the only update that I have is not official, but they're having a barn dance on June 11th. And that's in lieu of their fair social. So they're doing a barn dance out at the fairgrounds. And then they'll have a fundraiser at that time.
Okay, good. So financially, how are they doing?
No idea. I'm not the representative on the fair board, so I don't know. I just saw that on Facebook, so that's my.
Okay, then let's move on to the extension. Lori, you're here for an update.
That's where I get my news.
I know, I'm like, it's as bad
Your
as
face is
CNN.
red here.
I don't have anything.
So I will say that I will certainly follow up with what Linda had suggested and touch base with Rika and others who know more about broadband and be able to provide that resource for you. So we'll work on that part. And it is the first quarter is complete. So I worked to get this report together with our educators, and hopefully it's what you need in order to keep updated with what we're doing for Sawyer County with Extension. So I'll just point out a couple of things. Food Wise has some new programming coming soon. I know we said that before, but now we know that it's happening in the summer. And so Bridget's been working with Kim, and we'll be kicking that off soon. Kevin, of course, is busy at the Spooner Ag Station and has some other things that we'll be putting in the next quarter of some testimonials from Winter Greenhouse and some other folks who he's been helping with. Of course, Donna is on our team now, so you'll see that update and some things that she's been planning for the summer, because camp is just around the corner for us. So you'll see those things. And Rika, of course, is doing grant writing classes and working on a leadership program for Sawyer County. You'll also then notice the last couple pages are other ways extensions serving Sawyer County. And I'd like to include that for the report, just so you know, even without educators. The Parents Forever class is something that anyone who's filed for custody or in a divorce settlement is required to take a class. I used to teach that, as well as Joey Johnson teaches a version of it. And now it's available virtually.
At parenting class.
Yep. So there are 2 educators in Washburn and Barron County who do that virtually and have had several Sawyer County participants involved in that too. So I wanted to highlight that for you. Of course, the Northwest Wisconsin Lakes Conference is coming up and we're working on that. Heart of the North Legislative Days. I know some people from the NWRPC have commented about that. I just wanted to highlight Extension's role in those legislative days for youth. And the last thing on that report is the Connecting Children to Parents and the Justice Involved Families. So we have some people out of Bayfield County who are providing that program over in the jails now. That kicked off in early March. And so just some of the things that Extension's doing to support Sawyer County. I don't know, is this report helpful? I never know. This committee, I never know what to provide for this committee that's helpful or not helpful, or how often to do it for you. So certainly.
How about this justice thing with the jails? What are you doing there?
So it's connecting moms and dads with their kiddos through reading opportunities. And so we've been working, well, they have been, I've just been on the outskirts of it, of working to provide books for families so that parents can read to their children and do that connection and keep connected even when they're in jail. And so it's that literacy link that's all there, and you can find out more from the.
So do you go to the jail? Someone goes to the jail?
They go to the jail, they do recordings, they do some training about how to read and how to do it for your kiddos and how to connect that way. And then I think they do, I don't know if it's live videos or recordings that they go to the families.
Yeah,
So
I don't know that we have juveniles in the courts.
no, it's
Jail.
the parents
Parents.
who are then reading
The parents are in
staying-
jail.
and then staying connected to their kids
Kids.
through reading.
That's fantastic.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's a nice.
And then they
report.
get books to take and stuff
Yeah.
too. So it's a good thing.
Good, okay, thanks, Laura. Anybody have any questions? Jesse?
No.
No, good, okay, thank you. So was Donna gonna make no, anything else? on that?
She's here for libraries
Yeah,
too, so.
We'll cover that at the library.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then Northwest Regional Planning. Nothing new.
Oh, Hayward Lakes.
You're at 9.
Excuse me.
I don't have to
You are.
read. I don't have to read. Okay, I submitted my report. Some of the things that I've added since the report was, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Cabinet Consultants, but they donated some beautiful new brochure racks for the information center. They're just gorgeous. They just went in on Friday. So they're just gonna have a little plaque that says they've donated them, but it was all free to us, and they're beautiful, handmade, gorgeous wood brochure racks. And the other thing is, I mean, this is just some of the stuff that we got going on in the parking lot. I don't know if you guys want me to talk about that.
Sure,
I don't
sure.
know a lot. They haven't reached out. And I mean, I've heard that Shell Lake State Bank bought half of the parking lot, which I saw in the paper for $500,000. And they have said that they're going to keep it the way it's been. It'll be open to the public
For the time being.
for the time being.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all we know. We haven't heard any, I've not heard anything officially from the city or so. But anyway, that's great news. So we will have parking for sure this summer. YouTube, we got that all cleaned up finally, and just getting that cleaned up, it's increased by 40% since we kind of cleaned it up, and if you guys do anything with YouTube, you got to put really good names on there, is what, instead of just file 7, it has to say, kids at Wilderness Walk, and then more people will be able to find you. So we did all that cleaning up, and that's really, it was worth it because it's already up 40%. Website redesign, again, that's a very slow moving thing, but I'm hoping May 15th. We've got some media coming on May 15th through the 18th. We finished our snowmobile snowmobile friendly kind of selfie contest. It's been very successful the last 2 years. This was with money that I wrote a grant with the state. So, you know, it was all free for us to do that. The next big thing we're doing is called a SWOT analysis, and maybe many of you business owners know what that is. I do not know. This will be my first one, and that's very exciting. We're going to do that tomorrow. And if you look at the library schedule, we're doing it at the library tomorrow. So very excited to see how that turns out. Budgeting, we've already started kind of working on that. And then I also wanted to let you know that July, if you are a vacationer, you have anybody coming to visit, good luck trying to find a place to stay in July. It is already so full. And the trend that's continuing is families want to travel together. So they want 20 people in one unit for a week. Wow. And we don't have a lot of those options. So they can get maybe 2 cabins at a resort, but a lot of them don't want the resort experience. They want their own cabin, all of them. I think it's still the safety, the still feeling safe with, you know, whatever it's called, Omicron, whatever.
Nothing. It's nothing.
So anyway, that's my report.
You know, out by the fishing, golfing, fishing, what's it called?
The fishing opener?
Yeah. No, what's going on there?
So that's really exciting. The Governor's Fishing Opener, it's always been done by Wisconsin Indian Head Country. And they did it for 55 years and they said they were done. They didn't want to do it anymore. So Julie Fox, I don't know if you guys know Julie, she's our representative for the Northwest region with the state of Wisconsin. She came and talked to Northwest ITBEC, which you guys pay for. We are a member of them and I'm your representative.
Okay.
And we meet with, it's 11 counties usually, and we work on a couple projects together. Well, anyway, so we are doing the Wisconsin Fishing Opener and it's gonna go to each county. We have it, I feel it's important to be on the anniversary. So we will get it on the 60th anniversary. So this year will be 56. So we'll have it in 4 years or 5 years. Okay. And anyway, so we're all kind of pooling our money together through ITBEC and it'll be in Shell Lake this year, which we're really excited. It's a small community. It's in Washburn County, kind of highlighting a different area that's ever been highlighted before with the fishing opener. So.
Then on the parking lot, the municipal lot is, what half do they buy? The half near 27?
Yeah.
And then things like signs that are there, are they gonna stay?
I don't know. That's the thing, because that nice big Berkey sign will be on their property now. So we don't know.
I think the city is going to move back somewhere else and look at a digital version.
So the city, like I said, has not reached out to me at all. So I have no idea. I could be proactive and find out, but
Facebook knows.
I haven't seen it, so I can't tell you.
Okay, good. Thank you. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, is there a way to find out some, for sure on the parking lot? Because I know there's a lot of questions we have at that center as well. Just so if Shell Lake Bank bought half of the parking lot, what's going to happen to the other half? Is that still up for sale? So I know you don't know these answers, but who do we go to get these answers? Do we have to go to the city?
The city, I suppose. Yeah.
I would assume I do not feel like I want to reach out to them because I tried this whole time and the mayor would not call me back. And I went to a meeting and they were like, basically, you can't be at this meeting. And so then I just said, all right, let me know.
So
I got mad, so.
Well, I reached out to a city board member and they said that Shell Lake State Bank bought 44 lots and then they own the rest and they're not planning to sell. So they own like where the Berkey and the chamber are. They're not planning to sell that at this time.
Nothing.
So they gained
nothing should
500,000.
change.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got 500,000 in the parking lot. That's good.
Yeah.
And then, thanks. The other question I had was on YouTube. You said you're an increase of 40%. What does that mean? Does that mean subscribers to your site?
No, not subscribers, just impressions, like, so people are finding our videos better.
So those are videos that you are putting out?
Yes.
Okay, so on the analytics, then you're saying that you have 40% more hours of view time or more hits. But
More
not
hits, I guess, impressions is what they call it.
impressions, but not necessarily subscribers.
No, and I did not check subscribers, but I can, yeah, I can get in there and look at that.
Okay, all right. Thanks.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Good, Sherry, thanks.
Sure.
Nice report. Okay, let's move on then to Northwest Regional. No news again from Sheldon.
I think they're planning on doing it quarterly only, from what I can tell.
Okay, does that satisfy the committee, or do you want to, yeah, okay. Let's move on then to economic development. What's up to date, what's going on there?
I don't.
I'm on that.
Yeah.
I'm on that committee. We have a meeting on Thursday, but I don't have an update otherwise. We don't have a director currently. So we're just,
How are their funds coming? Are they raising money,
that is a conversation that we'll have at Thursday's meeting, just because without a director, there's a fundraising committee, but there's been nothing reported as of now.
Anybody has applied for the job?
I don't think that they've put it out for applications yet. That's not a decision that has been made.
Okay. Okay, good, thank you.
Is there an acting director? I mean, surely
Yes.
somebody has to be.
So the president of academic development with it, she's Jessica from LCO, and she's right now the acting
Okay.
director. And then they did just hire a marketing person part-time. So I think that'll take on a few duties.
Yeah,
But
they're going to have a difficult time asking for money from the county next year. If they don't get something going, I think.
well, I'm sure that they're focused on that, but right now there's like a survival mode, I think. So
Yeah, well, good luck. Good luck. Okay, let's move on.
thanks for your optimism, Tom. That's awesome.
Let's move on to the library. Who wants to go first? Molly, you wanna go
I'm
first?
under first, so.
Sure.
Couple things, highlights from the director's report that I sent in is that the Hayward Library Foundation, as planned when they formed, is able to give us $19,000 this year. So I'm very happy about that. And it so happened that even though we took the average, we always take the average of the previous like 5 years, say, and also the latest trends, a combination of those statistics to figure out the upcoming budget. And because of COVID, of course, it just got totally skewed. But this $19,000 that they donated last year really saved us because our revenues were way down. The good thing is people are starting to come back big time. And the staff, some of the staff did not work there pre-COVID, and they're just like, it's so busy. So those are good things. Northern Waters recently offered, and this is for the Winter Library and all the member libraries as well, collection development grant. It's much lower than in previous years because the trend has shifted towards taking some of our collection development grant money for books and putting it into ebooks that we get through the state. So because more and more people in our areas are reading ebooks, and that actually shot up during COVID, of course, that makes sense. So that, and I always list the different events that we're holding for the month. And the reason that I bring these every once in a while is to show what organizations are using the meeting room at the library. And that has picked up also since the COVID, the last 2 years of COVID. So we're really happy to be able to provide that to the community, and also a lot of out-of-town businesses come and hold classes there. So that's pretty much it.
Okay, good. All right. How about the Winter Library?
Sure. So last month I talked about a few things and I want to follow up on that. Our staff completed the Alzheimer's trainings and workshops that they were attending and found it to be very useful. We have in the past been attended dementia-friendly trainings, and so this happened several years ago. So since then, we did have staff turnover or more needs now as some of our population is getting older and helping them find resources. So they found these workshops helpful and better equipped to help the patrons when they're coming in and looking for specific materials. The other thing, and I don't know if it's doom and gloom, but it isn't. We'll get through it. But I was talking about our basement project and our issues. Well, it's going to cost us a little close to $29,000 to get this project fixed. And so we didn't have that in our budget for this last year. We had some carryover from our capital expenditures, but I think we're just gonna have to take it out of building improvements. So we'll figure out. I haven't met with my board, only my president was there for the presentation on Friday. So we'll be figuring out what our next options are in May. But our issues are, we do have a little bit of black mold growing down there, and they don't think sealing it off with cement is going to be the issue or be the solution, because we do have leakage through our stone walls. We're still structurally sound, because that was my first question was, with all this moisture down there, how is our structure and our floorboards? And that was, they said, still good, as long as we're proactive and, didn't help with all that 55,000 gallons going through last spring. So we did our best to dry it out. We hired people to come in and dry it out the best we can, but it's now water season again. So we're working on it.
Okay.
And try to find something that's economically best for us, but also maintain and preserve the building, as we don't have any intentions of moving. And that won't even be an option. So.
Rory, go back to your report. You had a little section in there. I guess the Rico was going to do this on grant writing. You know something about that? I mean, are these groups, is that well attended? Is it?
I guess, how many is well attended? I think has been around 15 folks attending. I don't know, I think she started one again last week. And I'm not sure how many people were signed up for there. It was an advanced one, so they were actually going through the request, the RFP process, and actually applying for some things. So I can have her come at a different date and be a little bit more.
Well, how about the libraries? Are you guys applying for all the grants you can do?
Yeah.
We try to apply for a lot of grants. There are some grants that I choose not to, because to sustain the requirements in the grant would cost us more money in the long run.
Right.
But otherwise, we are constantly seeking, and we network. We have a libraries director meeting once every
It's
every
a
2 or 3
month
months.
now.
But
Yeah.
we meet every month. We constantly are connecting with other libraries. What are they finding? And hopefully we can. So there's hope. I mean, we love where we are at. I mean, we're right on Main Street in town. And there's no suggestion that we have to move, but we have to figure out financing. There's a financing option. I mean, but I have not met with my board, and I have 11-member board, so they'll have their own ideas.
Stacy, how about the FAIR group and economic development? Are they out for grants? Are they looking for grants? Do they attend these kind of meetings?
I don't know. Good question.
Everybody needs money, I guess, is that a resource we should be?
Well, I think
looking at?
you're dealing with a lot of volunteers. There's not, like on the fair, there's not a paid position. Economic development is running not at capacity right now. So you're not going to get a lot of people that are going to be anxious to write grants, because they're not paid to do that. So there's a difference between having staff that is paid to, and then just working with volunteers. And unfortunately, a lot of our places, like even the Surrey County Historical Society, that's volunteers. So so that makes it a little bit more of a hindrance for people to take that on.
Available money out there that we don't apply for because we don't have the help.
Well, if we had priorities for our ARPA funds, then we could just move on with that.
Is that what we're looking at? Getting somebody that does this for the county? Jesse, what do you think?
It's a good idea. I got a question on the library. So you said you're a lot busier now compared to the last 2 years. Is there any plans to maybe extend your hours or open on the weekends? or anything
We
like
have
that?
opened on the weekends.
You have?
We opened on Saturdays, partly in thanks to Miss Stacy. Was it
Oh, that's
a month
great.
ago?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because you were last month. You said it at last
Yeah.
month's
Yeah.
meeting.
Okay. All right. I don't think I was at last month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian, do you have any questions?
No, I understand what you're saying about looking for grants, and I understand that it is difficult getting volunteers to do it. So the question I have is, anybody on staff, can they write grants?
I don't know who can write a grant.
Well, I think within the county, most departments follow their organizations at state and write for grants that way. County doesn't have a dedicated individual specifically looking for grants countywide.
But are we aggressive?
They've talked
Are
about
we
it.
aggressive in like doing that, paying for grants?
Well, I'm sure we could do better. It's kind of up to the department heads. Following
They
their,
encourage, who encourages them, I guess.
well, certainly it's a discussion when we go through the budget process.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
The one thing about grants is, I think we brought this up before, is that most grants are very specific in how you can spend the funds. And it's not always something that we need as libraries. That's the problem. You can't get one specifically for your need necessarily, but we keep trying.
They
Okay,
tend to be more capital in nature, but not always.
yeah, okay. Okay, let's move on. Jane, you're on.
I'll start over. I'm Jane Schrader, and I'm representing the Sawyer County Snowmobile and Alliance Group. And we have formed a government committee, is what we're calling it. And it's a group of us that are trying to stay in connection with all of the different committees and such that have to do with the Sawyer County and snowmobiling and ATV. So you'll see a member here each month. Might not always be me, but it's kind of a committee that's doing this now. We're getting, as I said, we're getting organized with it, and I see really great things coming from this committee. Again, I'll reiterate that it is all volunteer, just like everything else. Everything within the Sawyer County Alliance and Snowmobile and ATV Alliance is volunteer. So we work hard to keep the balls in the air. I just wanted to just let you know that snowmobile season, as you know, is over. We had quite a phenomenal season. It went longer than normal. We have some trail counters that we are learning still a little bit more. And unfortunately, we've got some good material from the winter, but next winter will be better when we have it all ironed out. Some of the statistics that are coming from that are really interesting. We had just 3 counters in 3 different areas. We moved them around a little bit. But based on some of that information, the computer can spit back all kinds of stats for us. We could expect about 112,000+ riders a day within just those 3 locations. Now given we're a seasonal operation here with that sport, but it's fun to finally have some numbers that we can bring to this committee and others and say, this sport makes a difference. What we all know that, but it's nice to have something in black and white. So we hope to share more of that with you in the future. We do know that trails are closed right now for the ATVs. We've been trying to get out there and take a peek as clean up for the ice storm actually still. And there's still, as of last week, there was still too much snow to get out there and really get some work done. But we'll hopefully have it all in order before we open up, and then we'll take care of trails as we can as we go.
But you got a good year this year.
We had a good year.
So how much of summer activity? You cover then side-by-sides?
We will be giving you, yes, we'll come all year long to this meeting and let you know. We plan on tracking some of the traffic. I think we'll be very surprised, the increase in the side-by-side world, side-by-sides or ATVs. The sport is just growing leaps and bounds. And you mentioned it, some group coming in
Travel
here.
writers, yep.
Yeah, and we're planning a guided ride with them from Hayward Power Sports out kind of into the Sealy Hills and then into town and down Main Street so that they can get a feel for it. Both how we can move around with our ATVs now. So, and I think that the Alliance's biggest mission is always trails, maintenance and development. So we'll work really hard to try to keep those trails up to par so that they're friendly for
How about
snowmobilers.
your funds? How are you getting state funds?
Same story,
adequately?
we're always looking for funds. And our state funds that come into the Alliance through the county, as everything, it's not always kept up to the cost, the expenses. So we've also formed a fundraising committee, which all year long, we're trying to do things big and small. Because every dollar makes a difference. You know, your groomers cost $250,000 a piece, and
Right.
the money that's coming in per grooming mile, and we get brushing miles, it's different criteria, earns you different funds from grooming to brushing to grading, you know, so and what equipment you're using, it just doesn't keep up. So we're trying, just like you, to make sure we can find the funds we need to keep things rolling, because
How about ATVs? Can you buy them yet now? Or is it
not right
supply?
now. No, the ATVs, can you buy them?
Yeah, yes,
We
like
can
a
buy
car, you
them.
can't-
But they are, oh,
Are they hard to
the
get?
conditions of what's going on in our world right now is what
Yeah.
you're speaking of. Right now, you are basically at a pre-sold, pre-order industry. You have to think ahead. We do have, there are stock units that are on order, but they're expedited with the manufacturer for building if there's a name attached to them. So our mindset needs to change a little bit for now. You don't necessarily get to walk in to a dealership of any sort, car or recreational, and just take a pick between green, yellow, and blue. It's just not there right now. Things are coming around. Manufacturers are trying, you know, to do their best to with supply shortages and such, but we hope that all changes. Our world went a little bit different. The recreational world was a little different than the library, where everybody wanted to get outside. So we saw quite a change, but now it's pulling back because of economic
Okay,
conditions of the world.
good.
So that's aside from the Alliance, but
Yeah.
it does affect that sport.
Good.
There are so many people out there, though, that want to be, this summer is just gonna be crazy, in my opinion.
So can you keep those snowmobile trackers for ATV? use?
Yes.
Okay.
We will, we'll transition and just put them out there for 18s.
Good. Good. Thanks, Jane. We'll look forward to seeing you each month.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I think Discovia Trail is at Trail 10. I think that's open for UTV. As a matter of fact, is there any other trails that you know of right now that are open to drive a UTV in the county?
You really need to look at the map, because it's sporadic. There's the Tuscobia is a good one that you can count on, but there's a lot of others that are not until forestry says okay.
Right, that's why I'm asking if there's any others that are
Yeah.
open today. April 11th.
I don't
think so.
Okay, and then the other question is on your, on the committee, because you said it might be, you know, someone else attending the meeting, so how many people are on the committee today?
Right now, we have 8 on the committee, which is.
So any one of those 8 could show up here to this.
Well,
meeting.
there's been a volunteer, there's basically 3 of us who have said we'll step up to the county level. Some of the others are
Because
using
Aaron's not
town
coming,
levels. Aaron Metcalf and Kathy LaRue, the 3 of us will probably be
That's right.
the representatives.
Okay.
We're trying to divide and conquer. We also have a a grants writing volunteer on the Alliance, just to kind of come up with, be nice if she's doing a good job of connecting where she can, but
So as far as divide and conquer, who are you trying to conquer?
oh, I'm sorry, that's
Is it us or is it me?
The task.
Always- Yes.
Is it me?
That's maybe not the right
Come
word.
on, it's all right.
We want to be represented. Yeah.
It took 3 of them to replace Donnie, and in case you didn't
Exactly.
notice.
And he's like training us in. No, I'm just-
Brian, any questions? Brian, do you have any questions?
No,
Okay. Tori, going back to you, it's farmer's market time. What's
is.
going on with that?
I'll find out.
And will they be in the same area this next year?
Question.
Oh.
I should have asked Riga. I know that you normally ask me. So I should have that
Where
permission.
were they last year? They moved from the,
The
lumberjack
bowl.
oh, that's right. Okay.
I think it was successful out there.
Yeah, I think that's what I heard that it was, so.
Hmm.
I think it's out there.
Okay, future items. First of all, Stacy, you want to talk about the school board referendum success? What's going to happen and when is it going to happen? And
A lot of work. So they secured the bonds and then, or that's what they're doing this month, and then they won't break ground until next year. So there's a lot of, that will happen as far as planning between now and then.
and how long will this project take?
They're estimating a couple years because they have to do all 4 schools, so it's not, and they have to work around students and activities, so it's not gonna be fast.
I was surprised at the margin.
Me too, I was happy.
So,
I'm never surprised by our community. Feature agenda item though, I was wondering, can we put the Historical Society on the agenda?
sure, how do we get them here?
I don't know. Good question.
Do you want to contact, I don't know who you contact anymore.
Well, Jim Ferguson was the person
Yeah, sometimes.
that came last time.
Yeah,
But are you saying you want it on there every month?
No, maybe a quarterly report, something.
So just let me know when you want it on so that I just don't anticipate and put it on when there's.
well, you might ask them, do they have something to report? If they don't have, then we'll wait a month. But
There might be a better contact than Jim. I'm not sure.
I'll see Donna Yacob tomorrow night. She's on my board too.
I think she has to formally reach out to her, like
Okay.
from the economic development, but
Okay.
do you want me to get you a list of who to contact?
I only have Jim Ferguson.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Well, if I did that out for you and send you the information, I just think it's valuable since they are doing fundraising efforts.
Yeah,
They do,
yeah,
it
I agree.
says Sawyer County Historical Society, so they're representing the county.
if we get somebody to show up.
Yeah.
Get that high school kid.
Yeah.
And you think they'd have some grants they could apply for? Right, somebody's got to do it.
That's
Um,
and your daughter-in-law.
Any
that
future
means.
items we should bring up before the board? Mike, what's going on in the county? What do you know?
I know nothing.
Nothing new?
Well, I think Andy is looking to start in a couple weeks.
Now, will he be coming with us here then, or eventually, or?
Yeah, he starts April 25th.
Yeah.
Budget season's right around the corner for us. Probably in late May, they'll be pushing budget direction out to departments.
So at that time, do you send a request to all of like the Hayward Lakes to economic development to see what their needs are? Is that when you do that?
Yeah, we usually send a letter out to them.
July usually,
You send me a letter?
They know it's coming.
did somebody take your job?
We do have somebody who's accepted. I don't know that we're naming him yet. We don't know his exact start date, but it's likely could be like July 1st. So there's going to be a gap in service there. And I don't know what we're going to do for training because this position needs training.
So do you plan to stay on through that,
No, I'm leaving middle of May.
one way or the other?
Yeah,
Goodness.
You're gonna join Tom going west?
yeah,
A young
yeah.
man?
Yeah, Tom sent me an email. There is life on the other side.
It's not as fun though. It's not as fun.
I think, I mean, going back to those grants, I think the nice thing we send each department head a notice of this, of the committee meeting, whenever you're gonna have it, and invite them to come, or send someone or something.
I just wrote a note too of maybe there's a way for Eureka to connect with department heads and do an internal professional development opportunity or something.
Who do we have teach that class?
Eureka and Amber.
Yeah.
and Robert Osio, they team teach it usually, but Eureka might be able to provide some basic professional development for grant writing.
Okay, good. Okay, anything else anybody have in the committee? Stacy?
No.
Jess? Brian, anything else you want to mention about?
I think he's
Hello,
shaking his
Brian.
head.
I think you said no.
Huh? Yeah, no, okay. Okay, then we're adjourned. Thanks for coming.
I'll be doing it for you.